Faded Glory by Dan Mason. Jack Smith, the Architect of Chaos. Part 1. Jack Smith, a rogue FBI agent, sat in a dimly lit hotel room on the outskirts of Jacksonville, Florida. The cold breeze of the air conditioning unit sent a chill across his skin as he sat in a towel, leaning back against the headboard. On either side of him, two women clung to him, a migrant commercial worker, Maria, and a massage parlor attendant, Xiang, both unrobed, draped lazily across his arms like conquered prizes. The news flickered on the screen in front of him, casting shadows across the room as footage of coordinated bombings and riots filled the airwaves. "This is it," Jack muttered under his breath, barely audible, his eyes narrowing in satisfaction. The scene unfolding on the television was his work. Chaos. Unrelenting chaos. The news anchor's voice trembled with fear as she spoke of the attacks that had taken place earlier that morning. Explosions ripped through major financial districts in Atlanta, Savannah, and Jacksonville. The strikes were targeted, strategic, meant to cripple the economy and send ripples through the nation's infrastructure. As the anchor mentioned the loss of life and the waves of fear spreading across the nation, Jack's lips curled into a smirk. All according to plan, he thought. The room smelled of smoke and cheap perfume. Jack took a deep breath, savoring the moment. The two women stirred beside him, their eyes half closed in a haze of exhaustion and compliance. They were pawns. No more. No less. But they need to have necessary pawns in a much larger game. Jack had built this operation piece by piece, like a master craftsman creating a masterpiece. He knew from the start that it would take more than brute force to bring down the American economy and undermine the Constitution. It required subtlety, patience, and alliances with the right people, the kind of alliances that would shake the very foundation of the country. His plan was to tear apart the fabric of society from the inside, using the very people the government had overlooked: the migrant workers, the minorities, the ones living in the shadows. They were his army. Over the past few years, Jack had cultivated relationships with migrant gangs, pulling strings behind the scenes. In Jacksonville, southern Georgia, and beyond, he set up trafficking rings, running illegal workers through a network of safe houses, massage parlors, and construction sites. It was all orchestrated to look like a series of unrelated operations, but in reality, every piece was connected. Every migrant worker, every trafficked girl, every under-the-table deal was part of his web. One of Jack's most important connections was with Lin May, a deep-cover Chinese intelligence officer masquerading as the madam of a massage parlor chain. Lin May's presence was critical. She had access to high-ranking military personnel, especially from the numerous bases around Jacksonville and southern Georgia. Places like Naval Air Station Jacksonville, Mayport Naval Station, and Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base. Through Lin May, Jack obtained classified information from military officers who frequented her establishments. Pillow talk, bribes, and blackmail were all tools of the trade. Military secrets flowed through her like water, and Jack used them to stay 2 steps ahead of any potential interference.